What is the third thing you want to know?
Today, the final thing I want to know, please, and thank you, is what is the most unexpected lesson your business has taught you, Josh?
You're also my most polite guest so far with your please and thank yous. I like it.
You would never get stop Italian, would you?
Okay, so unexpected lesson. I think that there have probably been, it's funny, like I've learned a lot of things. I've been full-time sort of independent consultant for about 6 years now. My business is certainly involved. I learn all sorts of things. One of the things that I think kind of runs across all of it, or one of the, that is sort of a theme, is you have way more control than you realize. And I think this is true, certainly as like an independent entrepreneur, but I also think it's true. And I realized it over the years, I spent 20 plus years working as an employee for various companies, and you have more control in that situation than you realize as well. But I think it's especially evident and sort of a different way when you work for yourself. And when I say you have more control, what I mean is you have more control over your schedule than you realize. You have more control over the services or products you offer. You have more control over the prices you offer. You have more control over every element of your business and your work and your day than you probably realize. And this is something I've certainly learned over the years. And I was thinking about kind of why that was unexpected. And what I think is really interesting, and this is something that I went through, and I think lots of people who work for themselves or have their own business go through as well. What's interesting is people go into business for themselves a lot of times because they want control and freedom. I don't want to have to answer to a boss. I want to structure my day how I want to structure it. I want to work on the projects that I want to work on. All of that stuff, right? That's a big part of why they go into it. But then once they go into it, they don't take advantage of any of those things. And in a lot of times they actually punt they wind up with less control than they had working for someone or working for a company, right? And the reason they don't take advantage of it is because they don't feel like they can. They go from having one boss to, let's say they're working with clients. They go from having one boss to having 5 clients who they treat like those 5 clients are their boss. So what winds up happening is they start to feel pressure to make things work on their own, which leads them to give up even more control. Oh, but if I want clients or I need clients, I have to do calls when the client's ready. And I have to, I have to take any job that comes my way, because what if another job doesn't, what if there's not another job around the corner? And it's fascinating. And I certainly not fell victim to this, but I think I had some of this mindset initially, like, in the early days, I never sat down and said, this is how many people I want to or can work with a month. It was like, if 10 people happened to contact me and wanted to hire me, great. I guess I'm working with 10 people this month, right? Like there was no, like, this is too much. Now there's a waiting list. I schedule stuff out. Now I'm very deliberate about, this is the way I want to do this. This is how much work I can take on. This is who I want to work with. These are also in the early days, it was like, I have a variety of skills, and anybody that I could help with something, I would do it. Oh, you need Facebook ads? I can run Facebook ads for you. Great. Oh, you need someone to ghostwrite your social posts? I could do that. Great. Right. So I was doing all these different things, not necessarily focused on the things that I wanted. I didn't like doing Facebook ads. And at some point I eventually learned, like, why am I doing this? Like, and that's what I mean about the sort of taking back control. And now, when people want to hire me or book a consulting call, I have a specific number of people I work with each month. And so if you want to hire me and I'm booked for the month or the next month, or, we might schedule 3 months from now. And not only is there nothing wrong with it, it's a good thing. It makes my work better, my clients better. It's better for everybody. But I do think it relates to control. And I'm fascinated, not just with me, but with so many people who they work for themselves because they want that control, but then they feel like they don't actually have it. And that's an illusion. That's something that I have definitely learned, even little things, right? Like now, if someone wants to schedule a call, I used to go, when's good for you? Now, now it's like, how about this time? This time's good for me. And they may agree, they may not, but it's interesting the degree to which people, especially who work for themselves, after going to work for themselves because they want that control. And then they're very quick to just completely give it up to everyone else. So that has been a massive change and probably an unexpected lesson, because I didn't realize when I first started doing this, I assumed, great, now I have control, freedom of my own time. And it took me a while to realize, but wait, I'm not actually doing that. Like I'm doing what everyone else wants. So that would be the big thing. And I would say to people, especially people who work for themselves, like take a look at how you're operating and to what degree you are actually controlling and doing what you want to do. Don't be scared that you can't take control. I actually have found that things get much better in my business. Again, for me and my clients and my audience, the more control I sort of take and the more boundaries and parameters I set up. That would be my answer. Does that make sense? Have you heard that before in people you talk to?
Oh, Josh, I mean, I wish I could say no, but I was actually going to add something because I love this.
Yeah.
It's actually like one of the things that I noticed the most is that when I talk about boundaries, and I have a lot of people that actually from reading my book, which is called Reclaim Your Time Off, called Dixed, boundaries and what you just said, setting expectations is the biggest challenge that they have. And when you challenge that, when readers went through the questions that I outlined in the book, they were like, I realized that a lot of the expectations, as you said, being always available, be available at certain times, commitment to work, it was themselves that first put that pressure on themselves. And once they set new boundaries and communicated with people, most of the time, not always, people will understand that. If that's the options that you give them, people will find a way to accommodate or let you know if they can't. But it rarely happens. And I heard from what you said, happened to you as well. Once you told people how things were going to work, people will adapt in that way. But it's that fear of doing it first that so many people told me was their block. So
yeah, it's funny. Like I actually realized after I started doing it where it seems so obvious in retrospect, right? But it's like, if someone contacts me to hire me and I say, I'm booked for the next, I'd love to work with you, I'm booked for the next 2 months. That doesn't make them less likely to hire me. It makes them more likely, right? It makes me look good and in demand versus going, oh, you want to hire me? Great. Let's start tomorrow. Like the concept that like saying that is somehow going to make you look worse. It's only going to make you look stronger. I'm not saying to lie and say it, but like assuming it's legitimate, it's not a bad thing for people to understand that you're busy.